Good evening everyone and welcome back to Limitless Gaming Esports for a one-off appearance here at Brazil for a League versus League challenge race. Anyway, it is between our familiar Monday night service of entertainment with RTG, of course, Road to Glory, and then we've got a Xbox League, I believe, which is TPL Racing, and they will be in this on the back. I'm not sure if everyone's got the same livery. We'll have to have a look out, but yeah, the familiar RTG are in the blue and then the black for our Xbox League TPL. If anyone knows what TPL stands for, then let me know in the comments. Should have found that out before the stream began. But well, yeah, so they're in this black and mainly purple actually, but for some reason the main colour is black on your screen. But yeah, the purple car and the blue car being RTG, and using that sort of Martini-esque livery they've got on the custom livery, of course, using the multiplayer car, and it's lights out and away we go on the halo of Matthew's RTG car. It's going to be interesting not having 10 different car names tonight. Actually, it's actually my first League versus League commentating, so it's new to me, new to the channel, and we'll hopefully have a really good 36 laps of the Sao Paulo circuit as we watch Matthew dive through the Senna S. And down the Retta Opposta, we've got the Xbox League car on the left-hand side there as we go into turn 4. Keeping it nice and steady there as we now enter turn 5 and now up the hill towards turn 6. It's double apex corner and a short stretch here until we get hard on the brakes into the really complex middle section of this circuit. As we've got a yellow flag in sector 2. Just watching the blue and gold RTG car coming to Juncal, the final braking zone of the lap as we now make our way up towards turn 1. And we've had the benchmark and a couple of benchmarks now, 3 in fact, in this TPL that has set the best time so far, and the only times until Matthew comes along and he puts himself very early on onto provisional pole, and then his league mate, should we say, his league racing mate, his teammate as well. I suppose there's 10 teammates on each side as we see the top 4 now being taken by the RTG drivers, so we'll see if the other league can respond. Josh though has invalidated by the looks of things. So we'll just go to we'll go to Rusted here as he's coming around, and he's invalidated as well actually. We've got Tonhead starting his first attempt here as he makes his way. Looks like he's had a trip to the grass with the a lot of dirt on the side of that Formula 1 car as we now come up turn 7 and into the braking zone of turn 8. Around the 180 degree turn 9 where it dips down into the middle of the corner, and then we're back out on the exit and another corner that's off camber, and then we go around towards Juncal, end of the second sector on the power for the final time of the lap. All the way to the line, try and take the shortest route with the most minimal steering angle as you possibly can. We'll see what he can achieve. It goes 11th, so hopefully he'll have a little bit more in his pocket as we see Ginge go top of the standings with just under 13 minutes left to go. watching Rusted Bolt. I think we'll be finishing a lap here. He is. Let's see what time he can set. See if he can break the top 6, which has just been RTG. No, he can't. So there is literally no mix-up in the order as of yet. You see Iffish now going towards the line. Slots himself into 10th place, but it is very, very close between the top 10. About 0.8 of a second separate all of them as we're just watching TPL driver there. Just watching Tagger, just letting other drivers pass. Not sure who is on a lap though. Professor 1 is using a slightly different livery. Potentially everyone hasn't got the same liveries. He looks like he goes purple in the first sector as he runs himself up the hill and over the crest and into this tight, twisty, as said, middle part of the lap. It's a short one here at Sao Paulo, but it does demand a lot of you, especially in this middle sector. But we should get some really, really good overtaking in the race. So we're now watching him climb up the hill towards the start-finish line. It's like a pretty decent lap so far, and we'll see what he can achieve as he crosses the line. Goes 7th, so still the top 7 are RTG at the moment. So TPL really needs to pull something big out the bag with a couple of runs remaining. We're just watching Josh here, I think also with a slightly different livery, even different kind of blue. Welcome along everyone who is joining us. Are you here for the first time with TPL, or are you a regular with RTG to the channel? Please make sure to subscribe to the channel. We will have a big announcement soon on the channel, so keep an eye out for that in the next week or two. Can't give you an exact date, but it's for the new year as Lee Burt gets himself into the 107s now with a 107.966 as we see Josh across the line go 6th. So Turbo's the only driver that's been able to break the top 8 as it was, and got himself now into 8th place. Hopefully just watching Kerwo, he's just struggling on the power a little bit potentially. It's a bit of short shifting. Don't believe he was on a lap. I think he is going to be now though. However, as he had 100% battery available. Mark Atkinson says should be RTG all day long this, but I'm biased. But at the moment they're looking in a pretty comfortable spot. Yeah, I do believe that Kiru is just starting an attempt as he had a pretty leisurely couple of laps, but we'll see what he can do. As he makes his way into the middle sector, nicely cut there as he used all of the curve and really shortened his distance through that turn, as we're now coming into the final part of the second sector now. Hi Aki. Didn't realise it was you. You're right. Yeah, Kerbo, sorry, I've been distracted there. Kerbo is about to finish his lap, and it's a good lap, and puts him up into 5th place. I think Chuck Brothers, though, has just stepped it up a notch and got himself into 3rd place. It's looking very strong for RTG at the moment. Top 5 spots are taken by the blue cars at the moment. I'll just be back in 1 second because I forgot to pick up my drink. This is just down the bottom of the stairs, so give me a second. And we're back. That was a bit of a nightmare there, sorry. Yeah, so top 6 now are occupied by RTG. So hopefully some of these Xbox drivers in TPL. Mark, am I saying it right? TPL, that was what it was, wasn't it? I always doubt myself. Is yeah, Turbo Snail is on a lap. Let's hope we can go a bit more than a snail's pace as we now come around turn 6 and up to turn 7, on the brakes into turn 8. Round the 180 degree turn 9. Ah, the People's League, I like that. I like that. As we see Turbo Snail just down on his time at the moment, unless he has a flying last sector. See what he can achieve. It moves up 1 place. We did gain a little bit of time in the final part of the lap. We have a retirement from Adam Lee. So at the moment, Iffish is the man in 7th and looking pretty good, doesn't it? If we should try for RTGs, there's some traces in our mist. I feel like that was RTG's driver. Prof 1796, everyone, as he comes into the Retta Raposta. Okay, went down the Retta Raposta. And up the hill towards turn 6 and 7. A really nice line through turn 8 and now turn 9. Make sure to use all the roads on the exit as we come into turn 10. And as we plunge downhill at turn 11 into turn 12, Yumkao, which is the last braking zone of the lap. I may have mentioned that once or twice before already, as we now make our way up the hill for the final time of the lap. Gets himself, or stays, in 8th place. So Lieber is still on provisional pole. He looks like he potentially is on a lap and is about to finish the lap. He may be actually starting another attempt. So he's going for one more try. Lee Craig is on an out lap as well. The drivers at the back. It's very, very close between a huge amount of these drivers. Top 15, top 16, sorry, within just under a second. I'll tell you how much exactly. Just under 9/10 of a second to 16th place. So looking good for the race if they can turn this into quali place. Kiro now takes provisional pole. TPL, the people have spoken, and the People's League, and he's pulled one mighty lap out the bag there. Top three separated by less than 1/10. But of course, we've still got a couple of minutes to go. Everyone's about to start their final attempts, or most drivers are about to start their final attempts. So it's not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Ifish is Ifish or iFish? There's a question. Is it Ifish or iFish? I'm actually thinking it's iFish. Or is it just fish? Well, I think I might just go with fish. So fish is ended up in fourth, so I debated to myself about that for far too long. And still got three drivers in that top of the midfield on their outlaps about to start their iFish. There we go. I was right with one of the answers. Is we watched Lee Burt now try and challenge for that pole position. Oh wow, Harvey has got himself now on provisional pole. It looks like TPL have waited to the final hour to make a challenge for that top spot in qualifying. So wait to see the final drivers cross the line. United stayed 20th and last. So I think we've got a bit of a problem here in qualifying. Yes, so there's actually a race going on, and that's actually ruined both of their laps. Someone missed timing, and whilst that's been going on, Matthew's now got himself onto the top spot in qualifying on provisional pole, and he's getting closer and closer to the mid 107s now, and the times are certainly ramping up a lot indeed. We've got Harvey Booth. Is he going to go for another attempt here? I don't think so. Our driver's just about to finish. It's quite difficult, sorry guys, to work out who are the last drivers to be finishing. Go on, Matty, says Aki, as watch Chuckling Brothers with a rather bold blue and gold livery. Checker flag is now out. 4 drivers have already seen the checker. Well, 6 drivers really. 2 of them have retired. We'll wait to see what happens. Matthew is on provisional pole, but for how much longer can he maintain that when all these drivers are completing their laps? See what Chuckling Brothers can do. Only moves up 1 spot. Oh, as we got Taggart spun around there. Which corner is that? I think that was turn 8. We now have Matthew retire from this session. A lot of drivers just having a little bit of fun by the looks of things. Lee Craig has invalidated his lap time, so that is going to be it. I think that is it. That means Matthew is on pole. RTG will be on pole for this league versus league here at Sao Paulo Interlagos. So usually by the time I've done that, we've got ourselves finished, but a lot of drivers were having a bit of a laugh and joke there, I think, on the infield of the circuit, just pretending to be lawnmowers. So there we go, that's it for our qualifying session. As I said, Matthew will be starting on pole position. And to follow Matthew in the running order after qualifying is Harvey in second place of 4 the People's League. In third place is Ginge. Lee Burt is fourth. Kiru is fifth. Lee Craig is sixth. iFish is seventh. Chuckle Brothers is eighth. Chuck Brothers is ninth. Professor 1796 is 10th. 11th is Rusted Bolt. Josh is 12th. 13th is Turbo. Chuckling Brothers is 14th. 15th is Tree. Danny Apex is 16th. 17th was Taggart, and I didn't get to the last three, but I will tell you once we get onto the grid. Sometimes you get enough time, sometimes you don't, and that's a shocker. We didn't even talk about it. Wet race then, at least for the start. Is it going to be like Monday in RTG, of course, when it rained in quali? It didn't rain here in quali, of course. It's, hopefully your memory's good enough to remember that. And but we did have a wet race. When I say wet race, it did go dry 12 or 13 laps in, I think, something like that. So is it going to be dry for the is it going to be wet for the whole race, or is it going to dry up at some point later on this evening? Hopefully the latter is just make a more exciting and interesting race. I do remember looking back at the Monday stream, I did say it wrong, saying he started on pole. It was Chuckling Brothers that won on Monday, and he started from the back, was disqualified in qualifying and made the charge all the way to the front. So it looks like we're about to get underway. So we'll just see what tyres everyone's on. I'm presuming intermediates, and presume right. A lot of drivers came out quite quickly, so unless they didn't check the weather, or the rain's going to stop pretty quickly and probably be dried up within the first sort of 8 to 10 laps, but unfortunately spectators don't get to know any of that information, which is a shame. So as I was saying, the last 15th was Apex. Mark says glad he's not on track now. I hate the rain. I'm guessing he was going to say it didn't come up with the last little bit. Yeah, Taggart in 16th, 17th was Josh. Adam Lee is 18th. Cent is 19th, and Tonhead is 20th. So the bottom three are taken up by the People's League. But it was very close across the whole spectrum. All 20 cars seem to be really well on it, I must say. So we're about to get underway for this league versus league. John Matthews Halo, it says the lights out and away we go. Of course, sort of trademarked by Crofty, that really, isn't it? Almost is it more famous now than the Murray Walker? God, I didn't remember his name then. Murray Walker, go go go. I'm not going to do the impression. Sort of semi did then, but yeah, no. Lights out and away we go. It's certainly really been trademarked now into Formula One, isn't it? It's catchy. So we're just waiting for the last car to line up for this wet start to this race on the intermediate tyres. Just waiting to see what happens. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're away for this league versus league between Road to Glory and the People's League. And now Harvey has got up into the lead as we go into turn one. There's multiple three abreast into turn one. There is now, we've got 2 RTG cars going off there, where Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton caused a collision earlier on this year. Is now we see them run down to Galago as we go into turn 4. As we've now watched, Harvey has fallen all the way down to 9th place. We didn't see what happened to him, but the top 2 are RTG drivers as it stands. Matthew and Lee Burt, with Kiru just behind them. Looks like Chuckle Brothers made up quite a few places there. 4 places at the start. But Ginger's lost 12 places. Lee Craig 7. And as well as Harvey, he's also lost 7 places as well. Antonio says, evening guys, evening Antonio, glad for you to join us as we're watching the back of the field here. Come round Young Cow. As we now go towards turn 1, of course the overtaking is going to be a much more difficult objective in these damp conditions. I wouldn't say it's wet really, it's just it's on the border I think between intermediate and wet. But there is some light cloud in the sky as Lee Bird goes to the inside at turn 4. Job done. But of course the RTG drivers, they will be fighting for themselves, but of course they do want to try and get the top 3 positions if they can, and it's looking good for them at the moment. We're going to have an answer to these big questions that RTG have been so no DRS of course on this lap, and usually it would be enabled, but that's not going to be the case in these conditions unless it starts drying up a little bit more. Sorry, that was something I realised I hadn't done. It's changed the position changes, just over a second now. In the lead is Lee Burst as we go towards the back here. Is all Chuckling Brothers has gone wide onto the grass as well. He's going to leave himself vulnerable to his teammate Lee Craig, sorry, not Lee Burt, as he is able to hold on to 11th place as it stands. The closeness at the moment is here we roll around the outside. Is he going to get it done? No! They make contact. He goes straight across turn 7 and turn 8 and now gets a 10-second time penalty for his troubles. I'm not sure if that's going to be able to be appealed or not. I think that was just a bit unlucky, but now he gets even more vulnerable. A bit of a slight touch there from Chuckle Brothers, I think, as we now have Rusted bolt down towards the back, and more drivers as well. Harvey's now has fallen down. As Lee Burt takes the fastest lap again, is now 3.8 seconds in the lead. It's almost becoming easy for the RTG driver as we've got Kirwu keeping a close eye, close tabs on his rival league. His rival driver Matthew ahead in the blue and gold RTG car. Is a bit of a kick of the rear end there from that RTG Formula 1 car as we go into turn 6 and 7. Sorry, he did get a little closer, but these conditions proving a little bit tricky at the moment. It does seem to be lightening up a little bit though, the sky around, as we go through turn 10 and down the hill through turn 11 into Yunkao. As we make the long blast up the hill towards the Center S. So unfortunately no DRS, but the slipstream can be quite powerful here, as it's actually proving it's the place where you can go for a bit of a lunge. He thinks that's not a safe option for him just yet as we come through the Center S and around turn 3 and down the Cedars of Glasgow and towards turn 4. Down towards Cedars of Glasgow, sorry, it's the Retta Aposta as we go through Cedars of Glasgow. the time is increasing between Matthew and Lee, but Matthew's now becoming a really nice buffer actually for Kiru, and I think Kiru is really being held up by the RTG driver, but he has got two more of the RTG drivers right behind him. This looks like this could be the chance that he's been waiting for. He just put out from the slipstream though, and doesn't really have an answer for him. Looks like Kiru has been able to hold on for Matthew's been able to hold on to Kiru's attacks for a little bit longer, but for how much longer as we come through turn 3 down the Retta Aposta towards the Cedar Lago as we go into turn 4. Still struggling to hold on, and now we've got Chuck Brothers fall down as he made a mistake at turn 4. As we've had all these drivers jump into the pit lane. Oh, I think we've got dry tyres for a lot of these drivers. Let's just double check. Yes, the dry tyres are on. And the rain has stopped. This might be Lee Burt's opportunity to maintain the lead. Is he going to come in this lap? Is he going to wait one more lap? No, he comes in now. And I think the drivers at the back, especially Codzilla, is going to be maybe looking for a decent amount of overtakes. His turbo stays out. Of course, we're going to have a bit of a raffle here with the pit stops being the multiplayer cars. Not everyone's going to know who their teammate is. Might be the odd one that does. Oh, there was a reset to track by Lee Burt there, and he's come out on the track in turn 1. Not sure if that was a reset or if that was a bit of a glitch, but if it was a glitch, that was a lucky glitch for him, I must say. Godzilla certainly made up a lot of time. DRS is now enabled, so there we go. It's going to become an interesting race. Lee Burt still leading, net leading, as we're going to see these drivers at the top of the order pit now. They took the risk and went for another lap on the Inters. Not sure if that was a good risk to take, not looking likely, but I might just have been a bit worried about being held up by another driver. So DRS is now enabled. The overtakes can really start flowing here into Lagos. So up the hill we come, out of Young Cow for Kiru. Let's see if he can go for it this time. He's got that DRS wide open. Still having to hold on to that third place. He's got turbos now just coming out of the pits. Not sure when he's going to come out in front of or behind. Oh, as Lee Craig gets ahead of Josh. Here's Godzilla. Looks like that was a good strategy call, pitting as one of the first drivers. So Apex gets himself a 3-second time penalty. Rusted Bolt takes the fastest lap. He's down in 19th at the moment. The field is now spread out just a little bit. I'm sure it may close back up again. So as we come out the final corner, the final braking zone of the lap, through turns 14 and 15 towards the Senna S. DRS open, he's just biding his time, is Kiru. And as as you go further back. Looks like Godzilla is going to try and go for the overtake. He's got that inside. He's committed to the inside. Goes past, does run wide, too wide, and now has to give up that place again. He's got Prof 1796 right behind him now. He will get the DRS as he was behind Ginge before the DRS line, or DRS detection point, should I say. That holds on to 12th nonetheless, so he broke even on that overtaking opportunity. So as it stands, it's quite clearly going to be an RTG win, but we're under a third of the race distance so far as Kiru makes his way up the hill just behind Matthew, trying to use the DRS overtake and slipstream. Matthew's just got a slippery, quick car in a straight line. The setup really working well for him as sparks fly out of the back of that RTG blue and gold car as we go down towards the Cedar Largo, down the Retro-Posse. He has to go around the outside. Is he going to get it done? He may do, but he has to hold on tight as we go up towards turn 6. He does have the inside line. They're still side by side. Neither of them want to give up. They're wheel to wheel into turn 8 as we now come around turn 9. This is a dance, ladies and gentlemen, a dance of Formula 1 cars as we're still going side by side. As I said, no one wants to give it up, but Matthew eventually has to concede the place. Kiru, after many trials and tribulations, now gets himself up to second place. But for how long is Matthew, as we know, he's got a quick car in the straight line, is he going to be able to just breeze straight back past? DRS open for him now. As Looney Man says, nice battle that. Yeah, it weren't bad, was it? Hopefully we'll get a bit more of that. As we'll stay away from those two for the moment. And that's got this really close fight in the midfield for 8th place, but they're all RTG cars. Come on guys, get the gloves off. Let's have some fights. You don't need to just keep it safe. Great format, but of course so many drivers trying to be careful not to hit each other. It can also feel a bit dulled down at the same time. The raw battles though, of course, are the drivers at the front. Is Kiru certainly was being held up by Matthew and is broke away from the RTG driver, and he's not really got an answer to this pace. But Lee Burt is just commanding the lead. Is Justin Brothers really let pass there by Lee Craig? Not too sure. Ginge now gets past Josh. So we've got Godzilla still trying to hold on to that 13th place, defending thin air there almost. So would have actually allowed Prof to close that gap a little bit more. It's whether he can maintain that close gap through the second sector. So, it looks like it's quieting down a little bit, and hopefully the RTG drivers will maybe give me a bit of a, and you guys, a bit of a battle to watch, because as it stands, it's all become quite mellow But RTG looking in a really strong place at the moment is the People's League. These two drivers just fighting with each other. Senna and Adam Lee, I think, just moved up on him into 14th place. Sun's out now in Sao Paulo. Doesn't look like there's going to be any more rain for the race, so we've got turbo style now. That's looks like there is a bit of an interesting fight for 5th place. Now Chuckle Brothers has caught up to the back of Matthew, so we'll see if he gets let past or if Matthew will want to be trying to hold on to that podium spot. And it looks like Professor One may have just got past, or has he? Because he's got another straight down the Retta Aposta. He didn't have the DRS, the rear light flashing constantly, so that gives Godzilla a indication he's running low on battery, but I'm sure Professor will already know this from being stuck behind him for a number of laps. So Chuckle Brothers, it's even closer this time. I think he is getting let through now. So up into 3rd he goes. Out of the top 5, RTG have got 4 of those 5 spots. Apart from that 2nd place position, I'm sure Chuckle Brothers will try to catch up and take that 2nd place. He's got a bit of a gap to Kiru ahead of him, just over 3.5 seconds as it stands. And that gap is not changed between Lee Burt and Kiru. So, we're almost half distance in this race. It's been rather quiet till now, and of course the tyre rule isn't in play. Everyone on medium tyres, I don't think they're going to be able to go to the end. I think that's pretty much impossible, so it's going to be a soft medium, I think, medium soft, sorry, for everyone. Not too sure where that will be. Yellow flag though. Josh's round. We've still got all 20 drivers as we get close to half a distance. Oh, his eye fish is now spun. Just I say it got a bit quiet. We've had a little bit of excitement. Is he going to get a penalty for cutting across there? No, actually he gets away with that. So, his tyres are not in good nick. Fortunately, goes things on. So, that's a very important position. Only 2 the People's League drivers are in the top 10 at around half distance. Really not looking good for the Xbox League. We've still got this close group of cars here, and he's just going to go past Chuckling Brothers. Yeah, it just lets him through. He just lets him through. So I wonder if we get into the final stint, how many of these RTG drivers are going to start driving for themselves? Because of course we are all here for the competitiveness, pretty much mainly. So I can't see drivers not fighting for position. Apologies, just yawn there. Nothing to do with this race. I had a very, very long day. Might be why I'm not making much sense tonight, but yeah, good, but a long day. It's definitely starting to feel like Christmas now, though, isn't it? The weather's certainly got a lot colder now. December, tomorrow, December. 17 days until I'm 28. So, Chuckling Brothers is just behind Ginge. And I fish again. Just oh, Mark, don't say that. Don't say that. Imagine he would do that much today. I said I did a lot. I didn't really do that much, but I am shattered. High Fish has got back up into 14th. As I said, fortunately, loads of drivers are really close together, but I think you can agree, Mark. I think we need some of them to start actually racing each other now. Kiwu and Lee Burt. Liebert and Kiwu are trading lap times, I think, at the moment. It's been very, very close. What's closer, though, are these two on track out of turn 3. Turbo Snout moves up to 5th. When I said about the TPL drivers only having 2 in the top 10, we should now say 2 in the top 5 out of the top 10. And hopefully Godzilla can get himself into the top 10 as well. So we have got this battle, as I said, for Godzilla. He's a little bit closer than he has been before. We'll see if he can have an attempt of an overtake. That rear light is flashing for Professor 1796. Didn't have the best line through turn 1 though, did Professor, as he comes out of turn 3. Down the Retroposter. He's just looking like a lot of these RTG drivers look like they've got really good straight line speed, and even with the aid of DRS, it's not really been helping with the overtakes. But I also feel the F1 2022, or F1 22 should I say, as a whole has been lacking with DRS. I think he was a bit underpowered. I don't know what you guys think in the comments, but I just don't think it's been like it has been in real life, should we say. So that's potentially been a bit overpowered this season. As we're talking about DRS and what had you, Chuck Brothers now has got back past Turbo Snail. As is Godzilla going to have a go this time around? He's getting a bit closer, but not close enough. With a double dose of DRS, he's not able to get alongside or have a cheeky lunge at turn 4. 4. A centre's pit or scent pit 4. Another set of mediums. Now that's an interesting call. So I'm sure a lot of drivers are going to think to go onto a set of softs. Interesting. So another set of mediums. Of course, you didn't have to use the 2 sets. In the race. I'm absolutely amazed though. Hats off for all the drivers that have been able to actually stay in the race. It's been pretty epic, I must admit. It's been a long time since I've seen all 20, a full grid, and then the full grid still being around about 2/3 of the way through the race. So yeah, very impressive. I think Mark actually said that in the comments a little earlier on. So medium tyres again, so maybe a few drivers have thought about this, of course, with the update, being able to have multiple sets of mediums now. So I wonder how many are going to go a little bit longer. And go on to the soft tyre. Not sure yet. We've got Matthew and Chuck brothers, so 2 of the top 5 coming in. That'll be interesting for Kirwu and Lee Burt, see what happens with those 2 drivers. Of course, Kirwu now has himself a time penalty. We'll see if anyone in a few laps will go on to the softs. Don't know how long they last. They do last a little while, I think, here, so I'm pretty sure it's a viable option. So we've got Ginge still yet to pit. The first man that has pit now is Chuckle Brothers, so keep an eye out on him. Wouldn't say he's in the net lead, but I'm highly doubting all of these cars are going to be able to go to the end. There's now Lee Burt pits. And it's the first lap where he hasn't been in the lead for a very long time. Medium set for him as well. We'll see what Kirwu will do. He might go a bit longer, go on to soft, take that gamble. And hope it pays off. Now, turbos now. Now, if any of these are in a party, well, I'd be saying if I was the People's League, like, turbo, like, just hold him up, like, hold him as much as you can, like, try and get us this win at least, and 10 laps on soft. So if that's the case, it's going to be sort of the next 2 laps if anyone's going to pit for the soft tyres. I think if I was Kirwu, I think that's exactly what I would do now. I mean, you're 4.5 seconds off the lead. It's whether he covers him off now or goes another 2 or 3 laps. Try to leave everything he can. And hopefully, which he is, he's going for another one, or is he going, which I don't think he's going to do, but is he going to try and go all the way to the end? I said very likely. I'd be very shocked if that were the case. Of course, we can have a safety car, that's an option. We do have a yellow flag. So Chuckling Brothers now into the pits. More drivers like Josh and Codtilla is staying out. Well, staying out. Chuckling Brothers, soft tyres, as we see a driver. It looked like they had a bit of a spin there. Oh, it was Adam Lee, and he's into the wall. Just like he's got himself away. So yeah, Chuckling Brothers gets out just ahead. This is not what he needed. Is he gonna? No, they're gonna fight. They're gonna fight for this now. The soft tyres surely, after a few corners that get made, have already come into effect, will be the better tyre. There's a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane now. Not good. That is really race win opportunity over for him now, unless we've got a safety car. So here comes Josh. It might be close. And Leslie Burt. So Turbo still staying out. Kiwi came out on the medium tyres. That's interesting. Very interesting. And now we've had Codzilla, his Ginge and Chuckling Brothers, and actually got past Chuckling Brothers, surprisingly. Those soft tyres not working as expected just yet. Lieber now 2 tenths behind. As I said, this is Kiwi's only opportunity, but he's got himself quite a few penalties. 15 seconds, yeah, he's completely out of the running now for the race win. Turbo Snail commits to the outside. Lee Burt commits to the inside. Job almost done. Job done for the RTG driver. He's not been in the lead for a few laps. Defended the inside. Decided he wasn't close enough to go for the lunge. It looks like he's gonna hold on potentially to the very end now. There's still some drivers that have not stopped. Only a couple of them have gone on the softs though, so most of them committing to the medium tyres. So Kiwi I'm very surprised about. As Chuckle was the first time we've made a mistake today. That Chuckle Brothers has got past Josh. Not surprised though, as Josh is really should be pitting around about now. Which he does. So this is the soft tyre for Josh. Turbo still stays out. Interesting. So Josh is going on to soft tyres, yeah. Makes a lot of sense now. Could be quite close between him and Snail, I think. Sorry, between him and Codzilla. Turbo Snail's up in second at the moment. So yeah, there's Josh coming up just behind Codzilla. Professor 1796. So, got 3 into the top 10 now. But as it stands still, it's looking very, very good for RTG from qualifying all the way to the race. They have looked certainly very, very strong. As we're going to see now, Chuckling Brothers or Josh might be able to get past Codzilla and move another Xbox driver out of the top 10. Maybe a slight bit of contact between the two of them, but they get away with it. More of a love tap there between the rival league. Josh on the medium tyres pretty comfortably gets past. You've got a yellow flag sent. It's 50 cents. That is round It's 57's got himself back on the track. So now Turbo Snail does pit. So that's interesting. He's gonna go quite a way down the order, I would say. Yellow again. So here comes Ginge. And turn one, here comes Turbo Snail. Under the couple of corners on the pit exit. Okay, so he's in a pretty good spot here, just over a second away from Turbo Snail on the newest tyres in the field. We've still got all 20 drivers on lap 30 of 36, which is absolutely amazing. Now already close to within a second. Within a few seconds as he now comes down to young Cal. Turn 12. Around the small kink of 13. These are nothing corners, of course, in a Formula 1 car. 14 and then 15. DRS line is just there. He defends quite heavily, just chuckling brothers, but he's not going to have an answer to the straight line speed of a Turbo Snail. It certainly has got a good turbo on that Snail. As we come around turn 3, he's now on the hunt for Ginge to try and make up a few more places. We've got another yellow there by a TPL car. And now he's got himself within DRS range already, and that's going to be within a few corners where that is going to be activated. Comes into young Cal, and now back on the power. Up the hill we go. DRS is in a few moments' time. He's looking pretty close, or close enough, should I say, to go for the move, maybe into turn 1, and if not, over the end of the Retro-Aposta into the Cedar Lago as we now go into the Center S. He's got right on the gearbox, careful not to cut turn 2, it's easily done as we now come around turn 3, launched himself out of the corner, overtake available, DRS available, he's going to go to the outside, it's a bit of a mix up of the feet there, I think, by Turtle Snail as he thought the outside was open, the door was slammed shut by Ginge pretty quickly, so I just think Turbo Snail has got to be patient because he might have a couple more places up for grabs here if he can hold on. He dummies to the inside there for turn 10, around turn 11 down the hill. A short climb up to young Cow, and then the longer ascent up towards turn 1. Of course, the turn 2 and 3 Center S. DRS available. He's a bit further back than he has been before. I'm sure it's not going to be an opportunity this time around. We've got a yellow flag. Still right on the coattails of Ginge, but it still hasn't been able to get past. They have been closing up the gap to the RTG drivers ahead. We're going to have 3 laps to go, 2 laps to go maybe for these drivers. I think that is going to be the case. Only some drivers have got time penalties. No one has retired. I'm not even sure if I've seen a race in 20 cars where not a single retirement in the race. They've all got to give themselves a big round of applause for that as we now go into turn one. Turbo Snail has not been able to get past. So I'll have a look at the penalties. Yeah, so everyone on 3 seconds. Majority on 3 seconds, sorry, I spoke a bit too soon. 15 seconds for Keanu, 6 seconds for Taggart, 13 for Harvey Booth, and 6 for Tonhead, who is in last place. We've got a yellow flag. The safety car now wouldn't be good, would it? As we're about to go on to the penultimate lap, sorry, there is 3 laps to go, not 2 laps to go. And actually, what's happened there is Lee Burt spun. He must have spun hard an instant. We didn't see that looking at the penalties, but he's lost the lead. But fortunately for him, and he must be breathing a sigh of relief for the fact that Kianu's got 15 seconds worth of penalties. So he's comfortably going to win this race still. Back to Turbo Snail. He's still just not been able to do anything with the DRS, unfortunately for him. They are getting closer, as I said, to the RTG drivers ahead, but I don't think it's going to be close enough at all for him to get past. He hasn't been able to get past Ginge, and he's only going to have a couple more attempts to do so as we're on the penultimate lap. Now we'll see if Lee Burt can take back the lead. In the last lap, I don't think it's going to happen. But is Turbo Snail going to be able to get past Ginge? Obviously with a 3-second time penalty, he's not going to make it up anyway. No. I think that might have been his last chance, or if that wasn't, this certainly will be the most realistic chance anyway. And that isn't going to happen. So we're just watching the top 2 as Kirwu is leading, and he's leaded with a bit of luck, but unfortunately for him, he's given himself way too many time penalties in this race, so he isn't going to be on the top step. However, he is going to cross the line in first, but he isn't going to win. Who is going to win is Lee Burt. Kirwu comes across the line first. Lee Burt takes first place and wins this league versus league challenge. Harvey Booth looks like he's taking the fastest lap. Chuckling Brothers, no! He's lost, he's run out of fuel, so Matthew's going to take third. The final step on the podium, Chuckling Brothers going to come home in 4th, I think. Lee Craig drops down, Ginge moves up, Turbo Snail stays in 8th. 9th was Chuckling Brothers. Oh, round he goes. Josh is going to finish in 10th, last driver in the top 10. Godzilla is going to move down as well. Godzilla. iFish is in 13th. Last man to not be lapped is going to be Rusted Bolt in 14th. But every driver started and every driver finished. I don't think I've ever seen that in the race in about 3 years. So fair play to everyone there. Thank you very much for joining me. The 8-9 people that watched on with me today, so thank you very much for that. As Josh takes driver of the day, I think Harvey Booth took the fastest lap. So So just do the final order quickly. Lee Burt won the race in style with Kirwu finishing in second, and I think this is an RTG win comfortably today. Matthew finished third, fourth was Chuck Brothers. Chuck Brothers was fifth, Ginger was sixth, Lee Craig was seventh, Turbo Snail was eighth, ninth was Chuck Ling Brothers, Professor 1796 was 10th, 11th was Josh, Codsilla was 12th, 13th was I Fish, Rusted Bolt was 14th, Danny Apex was 15th, Target was 16th, 50 was 17th, Target was 16th, 57 was 17th, Adam Lee was 18th, 19th was Harvey E. Booth, and UK Tomhead, who started 20th, finished 20th, 2 laps down. So, thanks very much for watching. Looks like it's just started raining again, actually. So, if we do want to see go, we might have a bit of rain at the end. So, unfortunately, unlucky for that. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. As I said, we're going to have a big announcement in the next week or two. So, keep an eye out for that for 2023. Anyway, as I said, thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've been Kingston, you've been great. We'll see you next Monday.